Those of you who got an invite, welcome to Nerd Prom.
No matter where in the world you are, we're all Nerds International. With the hyphen.
Alright, YouTube, it's Mr. Mean coming at you from very sunny, cold Duluth, Minnesota. I think we're in 45 today, so it's actually t-shirt day for me. It's been in the high 30s here lately. Today it warmed up quite a bit, and I think we're supposed to get into the 50s next week. A little bit more snow flurries this week, and so winter, as they say, is coming. So I might be talking a little hushed, so you might have to turn your volume up, but my wife is working nights this week, and so I have to keep it down a little bit. So I do apologize if the volume is low. I'll try to turn the gain up on my end, but I'm not quite sure how well that's going to work, and if YouTube will catch that or not. So the video, if the volume's a little low, just turn it up a little bit, or watch it on your PC where you can adjust the volume a little bit better. Anyway, today's video du jour, for my Patreon backers, remember, a little housekeeping here. Subscribe and like on YouTube. That helps me out a lot. If you want to get my videos a week earlier, subscribe to my Patreon. I have entry levels at $5, $10, and then $15, and that gets you various rewards. You can go to patreon.com/Mr. Mean, and you can see all about it. But that helps me out and keeps me the ability to buy these cool games and bring them to you for review. And remember, you get them a full week earlier than everybody else. So this video will actually be posted next Tuesday to YouTube, where everybody will be able to see it. That'll be the 23rd. I'll get it posted and edited and everything today for my Patreon backers, and they'll get it this afternoon. So anyway, today's video du jour is a great one. This one, I backed it when it was a box set version 1.0, and it had some problems, but they fulfilled the Kickstarter, and I got my product, and I was very happy. I'm a sucker for box sets. And then they decided, we're going to put out a 2.0 because there's a bunch of things we wanted to do and we didn't get it done right, and we want to make it right for you guys. And super awesome guys. I've talked with these guys a couple times. I would love to get them on the show. The company is called Burning Games, and they are the makers of Faith, the sci-fi RPG. This is version 2.0. I believe I did an unboxing of version 1.0, which was the box set, and they were going for a niche category that was like a board game / RPG, and it was awesome. The problem was that instead of using character sheets, they used character boards, and they had little tokens. The problem is, what do you do at the end of every game session? You pack your character sheet in your book bag or your binder, and you go on home, or you put it on a shelf or whatever, waiting if you're lucky enough to game at your own house, and you go on from there. Well, unfortunately, the way Faith 1.0 worked is the character sheet was a bunch of tokens on a board, almost like Arcane. Arkham Asylum or something like that, and so, or Zombicide. So, and it didn't stick. And so you either had to take a picture of it or write it all down or remember or just not move it. And it just wasn't convenient. And I remember showing it to a number of my friends, and they were like, nope, I'm not going to play that. And it's unfortunate because it killed the game in my area, and I was one of the few people in Texas that was showing people different types of games and stuff like that. So in Southeast Texas, and Sulphur, Louisiana, I lived right in both of those areas. So unfortunately, it killed the game. It just wasn't going to gain any traction. The game store owner wasn't going to carry it because I couldn't even run a demo. Because I'm not joking, I ran a demo. I went to run a demo in the store, and the minute they saw the token pieces and are like, well, how are we supposed to put this away or whatever? They were like, nope. And I mean, two people got up and walked away from the table, didn't even give it a second glance. And I was heartbroken because I thought it was a cool game. Well, anyway, they took all of that feedback and they went back and they said, okay, it was a novel idea. They made their money. Their Kickstarter was successful. Everybody got their product in a very timely fashion. It was very well done. So then they said, okay, we've got the capital now. We're a budding game company. We want to make a better game. And they did. Faith 2.0. Now, first off, there's very few games where I rant and rave about the interior art. And everybody on Patreon and YouTube know my penchant for art and how a stickler I am for it. And it's got to be concise. It's got to be, it's got to flow. It's got to make sense. Indie publications, It's Never Dark Enough, their RPG Shattered is one such game. Their art is phenomenal. Everything flows. It makes sense. These guys are a very, very close second. Their art is phenomenal and fantastique. So I'm very proud to do this and say that I own this. And it was funny because I got the original book and it was mangled in the post office when they delivered it. It was all beat up. And so I reached out to the guys at Burning Games, and they sent me 2 new books. So initially, right now, all you can get for this is the core book, and you can see it is chunky. And you can get the Faith Tang Tang supplement. Now this one's still shrink wrapped because I have another copy, and I haven't opened it, but I gave those 2 copies, or I gave that copy to the local game store for charity. They were having a big charity thing, and so it went to kids who needed it. So this is my play copy, but it's also my pristine copy. So that's why I haven't opened it, because I have this as a PDF and I don't need it physically open. So it's still shrink wrapped. So it's beautiful. There's no dings on it. It is in perfect condition. So this is a source book, 100 pages of Tan Tang specific setting, over 20 new NPCs, dozens of existing story seeds, and a play-ready adventure, plus a cool free upgrade. Every copy of Faith Tang Tang includes a fold-out poster created by cross-section mastermind Hans Jensen. The poster depicts in full detail the living quarters of the rich and poor Tyans. It's the perfect way to immerse yourself in the universe's largest and most exciting megapolis. So Tin Tang, for those that don't know, is a big space city, and we'll go into that a little bit more. The other thing that makes this game so cool, and what's neat, is you have stuffs. Now, you guys know I've done a review on these Sterilite containers. They're perfect for your gaming stuff, and you can get them at the dollar store. But one of the things that this game uses is a poker deck. And it's not a normal poker deck. You could easily use a normal poker deck and have no problems. But what they use is their own proprietary deck, which, as far as I'm concerned, is downright amazing. So this game doesn't use dice. So it's not novel. It's not new. There's a lot of RPGs out there. Saga, I just did a review of the Saga game system by TSR. It's out of print, but you can still buy it in certain places. Through the Breach by Weird Publications, also a card-based system based on their Malifaux world, the miniatures game. Awesome system. I've done a review of that one as well. Go back in the archives and check it out. But these are the back of the cards. And then on the front of the cards is some amazing art. And it's a regular standard poker deck. You got aces, kings, jokers, and all the different art. But all the cards has that's a joker, by the way. All the cards have symbols on them. So you can see there. And if you're doing a skill resolution that is set in that area, so like I think I got that's software, joker, space. So here's one for like space. So if you're on a spaceship and you're out in space, you get a bonus. So every player, you only need one deck, to be honest. If you're playing with 4 players and a GM, you can get by with one deck. My recommendation, if you have the money, do yourself a favor, buy the extra cards. I had the first set of cards, which are still usable. It's the same deck. I think they did do some updated art. And then when I did the Kickstarter for this one, last year, I got like 2 or 4 more decks of cards. So I've got like 6 player decks. So I'm set. But the GM really needs his own deck, and the players should each have their own deck. If you're doing a convention game or a one-shot, you can get away with 1 or 2 decks. The GM a deck, and then the players a deck. The other awesome thing that they came out with is they wanted immersion in their game. They talked about it real heavily on their Kickstarter, and I'll make sure I put a link in the doobly-doo down below. But they had equipment cards, and here's a deck of equipment cards. I got several of them. So, like, here's a human mercenary. you know, and it's basically, that's all his stats. And then on the back was some, you know, quantifying information, but all kinds of gear. Like here's a Nirvana, a Cortex connected to headset. So, and you got to remember, this is way in the future, super sci-fi, crazy stuff. I'm trying to find some more of the gear. So you had an NPC deck, you had a player deck, which is just a basic deck of cards, and then you had an equipment deck. And the equipment deck had all kind of things like a Mincer. A Mincer is like a little droid that you could get, a little robot. And you can see it's got its stats there. Let's see, I'm looking at something. Let me find something here, like some weapons. Yeah, here we go. Here's the Witty, which I believe is a sniper rifle. It's a firearm. And you can see there's the stats. You know, and it's a pretty cool looking art. And then of course on the back is all the information for that. Here's the Axis. It's basically a two-handed axe. It looks brutal. So their point is, and these were optional, you didn't have to buy these, but the point was that you would have this stuff and you would be able to physically, so the player finds some hand grenades, boom, you give them a card for hand grenades. The players have, you know, these gloves, these artificer gloves, or gloves that help them. I'm trying to see, like, yeah, here's a grenade. Armor Bane, it's a grenade made to blow up armor and bypass armor, and then on the back is all the stuff. And so you physically had this on your character, you know, you could write it on your character sheet, and then you could you could use it for whatever you needed. Octopus suit, you know. So, and this, it gave you the armor. This was basically a type of armor, and it would tell you the bonuses and then a little bit on the back of it. So super cool stuff. And again, you didn't need to buy any of these. They were all optional, but doing the Kickstarter, I was able to get all of that stuff. So it was super cool. So I'm going to close this up because it's chock full of cards and I don't want to spill it. So the two core books, this massive tome here, and then of course Tantang, Burning Games. Let's see, how many pages is this? What are you getting for your bang for your buck? You got some character sheets on the back, and then you got some NPCs. So we're looking at 435 pages of goodness. There's a bunch of NPCs. There's a character sheet. I'll make sure I put a link to their website down in the bottom. So you can go, they got a bunch of free stuff you can download. So if you're curious about this and you're like, man, Mr. Mean, I don't know if I want another hardcore sci-fi game. What makes this different is the rules mechanics. They use cards resolution. You get a deck of 7 cards. Unless you're a human, then you get 8 cards, because humans are adaptable and flexible and always doing crazy stuff. I need a stand or something so I can put it here. And then what's neat about this card resolution system is that's your hand. Until the GM says it's time to draw new cards, everything you want to do, you have to do out of the hand. So you have to make some very tough choices. If you're going into a negotiation in the city, do you burn that ace of a city card, or do you save it for the impending combat that you think might be coming up? Because you're in the city, so it's a city card, it's going to give, or an urban card, it's going to give you a bonus. So you have to make these hard choices, and there's rare cases where you get to draw new cards. I personally think it's a boon to have your own deck, because then you know, a lot of people say, oh, well, he drew all the good cards. But the pros and cons, the cons are other people are going to be drawing the cards. The pros are you're going to burn through the deck. When you do draw the last card of the deck, or you can't draw a card, you are allowed to reshuffle the discard pile back into the deck, and you do it that way. So 4 players, 7 cards, you know, if they're all playing humans, that's 8 cards each. That's what, 32 cards out of your 54 deck right there. So the odds of other people getting good cards, you know, and going from there are slim to none, but it's decent. Like I said, the art is very evocative. This is a beautiful book. This is on my coffee table next to my Shattered RPG, because the graphics and art is gorgeous. So the layout of the book is phenomenal. My only pet peeve is there are a number of spelling errors in here. Now, that being said, these guys are from Spain, so English is not their prominent language, but this is their 2.0 version. The fluff hasn't changed that much from the first edition, so They should have found all these errors. That's my only complaint. The layout of the book, the quality of the book, the depth of the book, top notch. The paper is nice. It's printed on a heavy glossy paper. It's printed well. It doesn't bleed. It doesn't smear in your hands. I have fiddled through this book quite a bit, and I've had no issues with it. It's a hardback book. It's gorgeous. It's indexed. It's table of contents, the whole 9 yards. The art. Let me see if I can find some good art. There's a good one. It's all digital art. The artist, they got some top-notch guys, and it, like I said, everything is just amazing. I mean, yeah, you can't go wrong with this. So what's neat, what sets this apart as far as a sci-fi setting, apart from other, like The Last Parsec Savage Worlds, which is a super easy game to run because it's Savage Worlds. The setting. The setting in this is great. I'm a huge fan of Coriolis, and this is akin to Coriolis, only the sci-fi is a little harder. And it's not set with like a Mediterranean theme. This is just a straight out sci-fi out there setting, where Coriolis is a very Middle Eastern, Mediterranean themed game. But like Coriolis, in this game, the gods are real. They are quantifiable. There is no doubt that the gods exist and that their vessels on this plane of existence are real, and it's very cool. But they're alien, and there's not like a god of war. There's not like a god of love. They're very like there's a god of commerce, and it's very cool how they do it, and the ideas and everything that they give you to manifest the gods and their power. But it's not like, it's not like clerics in D&D. It's very subtle. I mean, it's called Faith. The name of the game is Faith. So there you go. You have some alien races. You have the Corvo. They are basically almost reptilian looking, and they are all about commerce and fueling that machine that is commerce. And they're not a warlike race, but they do have their military side because they have to protect their interest. Then you have the Izcal, which are super cool aliens as well, kind of humanoid, but definitely alien. And they're all about the Izcal are the commerce guys, and the Corvo are the more militaristic guys, if I got it right. And I've been reading so much of this, I'm getting it all confused. But I'm gonna tell you, do yourself a favor, and if nothing else, buy the PDF. Yeah, the Corvo are the largest civilization and the most powerful in the known universe. They are highly technified, capitalistic society, and the Izcal are the progressive, orderly civilization that has built its power and stability on social and genetic engineering. So yeah, the Izcal are all about technology and social interaction, and they're almost not quite a hive mind, but they do everything for the greater good of the society, and they have a military force as well, and they're not afraid to use them. The problem is, over these years, the Izcal and the Corvo have been fighting because each one wants dominance, and they can't get it. The Rag are a nomadic species from a barren world and our strongest sentient species on a galactic record. When compared to the Izcal and the Corvo, the Rag are almost giants. They are mostly used for tasks that require brute strength, from carrying heavy loads to military assault. So they're the big dumb brutes, but they're not exactly dumb. They've got space travel. They're intelligent. They're just big. And then you have the Ravengers. The Ravengers are almost it's hard to describe them. They're almost insectoid, reptilian, and they're just mean. They want to devour everything, and they've come to our space where you play this game, and they're just wanting to take over and kill everything and make everything subservient. Your food to them is basically what it is. And when I say our space, because everyone says, well, what about the humans? This is what sets this game apart from a lot of other RPGs. Humans are not the dominant species here. Our civilization burnt out a long time ago due to nuclear warfare. We fucked up our planet. We fucked up our habitats. across the galaxy. And if it wasn't for the Iskal, or I think it was the Iskal made, or the Corvo made first contact with us, and if it wasn't for them saving us, we'd probably be extinct. The good thing is humans breed like rats, and they're very, very, very adaptable. And so they have become the universe's janitors. They do all the shit jobs. They're not a slave species, but it's like they are the guys that get all the dirty jobs. They are the mercenaries. They have the largest contract mercenary force of any of the known species, aside from the Ravengers, who are just all out military and eat everything in their path. And so the Corvo and the Iskal and even the Rag will throw humans, mercenaries in the front, to do the dirty work and take the brunt of casualties and everything before they send their own troops in, because they just consider them a disposable species. So it's kind of neat. You're kind of playing at a deficit when you play in this universe, but there's rules to play the Iskal or the Corvo or the Rag. Like I said, the gods are... Oh, here's a great picture, because this will show you the species. So there you go. And there's the human. The Corvo is the first one. The Iskal, the humans, and the Rag. The Ravenger, I don't think they show a picture of the Ravengers. Yeah. Here's a great scene of the universe. I mean, the art is fantastic. Let me see if they give me a... Let's go to find a picture of the Ravengers. Page 291. Let's go to 291 and see what we can see there. The book is just chock full of amazing art, and I think trying to find a good picture to show you. There's a harvester, lurching heart. Yeah, so these are two of the things that you can encounter. The Iron Skin is like a frontline troop. It just goes in. It's unstoppable. It's aggressive. Throughout the book, they have littered these like NPC cards that you see here, and that's all your stats and everything that you need in order to play that, as an NPC for the GM. Lurching Horror. It's a lone wolf, meaning you'll usually only encounter one. It's proficient, and of course, it's a Ravenger. It's a level 4 critter. It's a Ravenger. It's malicious. Its movement is 5 meters, weight 176 kilograms, height 236 centimeters. It's just a beast. Infiltrators, a techno. I mean, they're just this weird, just weird. I mean, like insect, reptilian, bioorganic. I don't know how to. Their tech is. Here's a quote from one of the NPCs. It's not that the Ravenger don't have technology, rather they are their technology. So it's organic appliances, and they just do all kinds of crazy bad things. There's a great section on the mechanics of the game and how to do things. Like I said, it's a card-based game. You get 7 cards, 8 if you're a human, and you have to make strategic choices on when and where to use those cards, because you're going to be redrawing cards very rarely. There are some talents and things that you can get that will help you refill your hand, but they're few and far between. And character creation is pretty in-depth. I feel like you make a pretty decent character. I'm still going through it. I haven't had a chance to get this to the table and get it played, but I'm really looking forward to it. So, like I said, if you're looking for a super awesome high-tech game where humans aren't the status quo and the good guys, this is a good game, man. If you want to try something that's different, you're not chucking dice and you're using cards. I don't know about you, but I get that same feeling when I pull that ace out of my hand and I slap it down on the table, and I succeed. And this card has bonuses and deficits where you can play more cards. And a lot of times you'll play those cards off the top of the deck. The mechanic it's very innovative, I think, and it's very unique. It's hard to explain. I am not a master of the game at all. I'm still reading up on it. I've had this for quite a while. I just haven't had a chance to get it to the table and get it played, and I don't know anybody else who knows about it. So I think it's a great game. I think it would be wonderful in your library. It looks great. like I said, the Kickstarter was awesome. The website is very well done. There's a lot of great information, a lot of free information on their website. I wish they would have given, John Iglia and Helio De Grado. Game designer and develops is Carlos Quintana, Mauricio Alonso, and Helio De Grado. Helio is the guy that I dealt with through the Kickstarter because my first set of books came mangled, and they put some new books in the mail to me. The book is, like I said, is laid out really well. There are tons of NPCs in here, so if you don't get the cards, you're okay. You just have to flip through the book. I believe there's a PDF option. I'm not sure if you can get the stuff on DriveThruRPG. I will say though, they have their Faith, A Garden in Hell is a little introductory box set, and it's still available off their website. So if you're not sure you want to dive in deep to this and spend the money, because Lord knows this is a chunky book. I'm sure this is a good $60 book, if not more. And I get it, money's tight. Not everybody wants to spend that kind of money. So if you wanted to check this out, you could go on their website or DriveThruRPG, and you could purchase A Garden in Hell, which is their introductory box set. And it comes with some sample cards and everything, enough to get you started. And you could play the game, and you could figure out, hey, man, if I like this, and then you could just buy the core book, which, if you're a fan of sci-fi art, if nothing else, it's a beautiful coffee table book. It's definitely going to spark conversation when people see it. If you're a fan or you're willing to try different game mechanics, this is one that I highly recommend. I like the card concept. If you go to their website, and again, I'll put the link in the doobly-doo, they have some quick tutorial videos that show you how the card mechanic works, so you can definitely check that out and go, I think this would be kind of cool. Maybe talk it over at your game group and maybe order the Garden in Hell box set, and if everybody digs it, then you can order the book. The Tentang supplement it's got a beautiful map in here that you could hang up in your gaming room, or put it on a poster board, and you could set whole adventures on here, and there's a bunch of adventure ideas in here, and of course more NPCs and you can shake a stick at. So it's very cool stuff. It's really well done. I can't brag enough about it, and like I said, it is right next to Shattered for me as far as the quality of the layout of the book and the art presentation. But I also think the world setting is just phenomenal. They go into the social, economic, political stances of all the races. Exactly, so if you want to play an Izkal, where you stand in the society once you make that character, and you know what your goals are, which I think is really cool when a game can do that, when it can give you that sense of belonging to that race and feeling connected. They do a great job for this game. So that's my thoughts on Faith. Mr. Matt Stark, this one's for you, buddy. When this goes live on YouTube, you'll be able to watch it. But he asked me about it, and so I wanted to point it out there and let him know that, yeah, it's a cool game, man. Pick it up. It's totally worth it. If you have a gaming group that's open to trying new systems, this is a great one, because the sky's the limit in a sci-fi setting, and they give you so many ideas. There's also a starting adventure in here that is very good. I did read the adventure, and it really sets it up pretty good. Really, really good if you want to play a bunch of human mercenaries. It works out really well, but you can be Corvo or Izkal, and the adventure still works, but it would be best suited for human mercenaries. And I think if I was going to play this, I would want everybody, or I would play a human mercenary, because I think you're just that down and out guy or gal, and you're just trying to scrape by. You're trying to get, in this universe that basically doesn't give a shit about you. You're disposable, and it's just you trying to make a name for yourself. I think that's really cool. So, get a couple, get that Burning in Hell or Burn in Hell box set. Get a couple decks of cards. They give you rules in here on how to use regular poker deck. If you're a Savage World fan, you've probably got a couple poker decks laying around anyway. So Mr. Mean is fully set. And like I said, I got my plastic bin here, chock full of all the cards. You can see all those decks of cards in there. So I've got everything I need to play the game. I might even try to do a Discord one-shot with this, just to see how it goes. And I'll just flip cards for people. So It's a buy from Mr. Mean. I'll put a link to the website below. I believe it's on DriveThruRPG. I'm almost positive you can still buy the Burning in Hell box set, which is a primer. Will give you a taste of the game. The mechanics change a little bit because 2.0 system is out, but it's very workable, very playable. So anyway, I've rambled on for about 30 minutes now. I wanted to give you guys my thoughts on Faith. I think it's a buy. Go out, pick it up. If nothing else, get the PDF. I think you'll enjoy it. It's a good read, if nothing else. You have to get past the grammatical errors, but they're not horrible, and there's not a whole lot of them. There are several, though, so be aware. But again, they're a Spanish company, so English is not their predominant language. So cut them a little slack because they put out a beautiful book. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. And as always, like and subscribe. And remember, Mr. Mean says, be nice.